Just a friendly reminder that the opinions expressed on this show are not worth a Canadian penny, so disregard anything you hear that might get anyone in trouble. And despite some of the great ideas you may hear, don't try them at home. Go to a friend's house instead.
It's time to get a gun. That's what I've been thinking. Well, I could afford one. And if I did just a little less drinking, time to put something between me and the sun. When the talking is over, it's time to get a gun.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Slamfire Radio, episode 374 for October 1st, 2020. I am one of your hosts, Trevor.
And I'm Adriel.
And that's it. Kelly is on assignment, and Random Dave is constructing his COVID bunker. Bunker or shelter? What
You could probably shelter from COVID. You don't need a bunker because it's not like going to bomb you.
Could you shelter in your bunker?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you could shelter in your bunker.
So he's building a COVID bunker in which he will shelter from the COVID.
I mean, if you're going to build a shelter, you might as well. You're halfway to a bunker, so you might as well build the bunker just in case the next one isn't a pandemic. It's aliens or EMP or one of them other things that shows up on a conspiracy theorist show on Discovery or whatever.
Ancient aliens. Yeah. No.
The ones that made the pyramids.
We're talking bunker, not shelter. You can shelter under a tent. You can shelter under a tarp. You can shelter under an overpass, which, given some of my life choices, I'm surprised, frankly, I'm not doing right now. However, this is about Dave, and it's a bunker, a COVID bunker he's constructing, in which he will shelter. And once we're past this one, then he can shelter from anything because bunker, right?
Yes, I think that's exactly the idea.
Imagine building a bunker and this is all you've got to use it for, the COVID thing. Wouldn't you be disappointed?
No, because you can use it for something afterwards. You can use it for room and activities. And if you have some guests over, you're like, sorry, I'm all out of space, but there's room in the bunker. There's always room in the bunker. You can have some of them crackers over there. They're way expired. I wouldn't want to eat them. So you can go ahead and snack on them.
That's how you ensure those guests don't come back. That's what that is. Yeah. So,
bunker food.
Yeah. Why don't we jump into what we did this week in guns, which of course is brought to you again and always by the Calgary Shooting Center, Canada's premier firearms retailer. They got blades, man. They're into the Benchmade now, and they've got
cut someone. That's the place to go.
If you want to play a game of stabbery, then you go to the Calgary Shooting Center to get your Benchmade stabbing utensil. I got my Benchmade on me right now.
You could get this red one. It's very Canadian.
Yeah, it's got a maple leaf, a flag on it.
Or you can get that one that you've got.
And that is a exclusive Canadian edition. So if you want a Canadian edition Benchmade, Calgary Shooting Center. I love me some Benchmade. And actually, this Benchmade knife has a podcasting connection. Do you remember Chaz? The unnamed trucker.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Trucker. Yep. Yeah.
Was he the Road Gunner podcast? What was he? He wasn't the gun runner.
This, though. Yep.
Yeah, not to be confused with the pedophile that I shared a room with in Utah. Did you ever hear that story?
You probably were safe.
I was safe. The asshole had a Glock 40 pointed at me all night. He puts his loaded Glock on the nightstand, pointed right at me. I'm like, really, dude? No fucks given here?
I got a joke for you. Right. During the debate, Trump was so childish. I'm surprised that Biden didn't try to smell him.
That's funny. But my story is true. This guy was a host of a podcast and then ended up getting charged with molesting. He was also a middle school teacher, and he ended up getting charged with molesting his girlfriend's kid. Piece of shit that he was.
It's always those school teachers you got to watch out for most.
Yeah, well, if I had known,
system, really.
Shut up. If I had known then what I knew now, he wouldn't have slept so good. Anyway, this knife, back to Chaz from the Road Gunner podcast. I bought that from him, and it was new, unused. He had a lot of carry knives, and he shipped it up here to the Great White North. I did really, really good on it. I got it for probably $40 less than Canadian retail. So, Yeah, Benchmates. They're amazing quality, and they hold an edge like nobody's business. And the Calgary Shooting Center is selling them. Wow, weren't we just talking about going down rabbit holes? I'm talking about pedophile podcasters and
Pedophiles,
shit,
knives,
pointing guns at me. Yeah. Awesome,
Mm-hmm.
awesome. That's what happens when Kelly's not here to supervise.
Gets wild.
Yeah,
Wait.
yeah. Anybody knows me knows I have a disdain for pedos.
Let's get real crazy here.
You got going on there? You got a little hip flask? What's in the hip flask?
Mysterious brown liquid.
Oh, it's probably rum or whiskey. I'm going whiskey. It's whiskey. Whiskey.
It's whiskey.
Yeah, not dark rum. Cool. So I didn't do anything since last week, except I forgot to tell the funniest part about last week's match, and that is that I got hit with a chair.
I want to imagine this is like one of them folding chairs.
It was like a folding chair.
A big strike across the back, like a wrestling, like WWF kind of stuff.
It should have digressed into that. It de-evolved, whatever, escalated. It really should have. After Filthy smoked me in the shins with it, I should have picked it up and taken him across the shoulder blades, WWE style. I really should have. Well, so I don't know if I posted the video on Instagram or not of when I think I shared the video with my fellow co-host where I grabbed the chair and threw it way behind me. Did you see that video?
Yes. So
the chair was attached to two swingers. It activated them. And when you pulled the chair, the swingers activated, right? So everybody's got, the harder I throw the chair, the faster the swingers will activate. And it's not actually how things work, but, whatever. So when I threw the chair, it broke. When Filthy threw the chair, it smoked me. I mean, we had been, of course, talking crap, make fun of him and stuff. Mm-hmm. And was I the RO? I may have been his RO. I don't know. He couldn't really see me, but he took like one glance before he got into final position. And then when the timer went beep, that chair went flying right into me, smoked me in the legs, almost dropped me. It was awesome.
It was a good shot then.
It's probably, this is the one of the only times he didn't miss. That's a stormtrooper joke. Yeah. Anyway, great match. Same match I talked about last time. 8 stages. Started at 8:30. Good times. What about you? What did you get up to since last week?
Lots of stuff this week. Oh yeah, it's been a busy week for me. So I did a Maple Seed in Bonnyville. Some really good shooters out there. Yeah. Nice range. Some really good shooters. Adam, who's a listener, shot a 246, which is so good.
A 246.
Mm-hmm.
What's yours? 247?
44.
Oh snap! Mm-hmm. He's 4 off from a perfect score.
Yeah.
Where did he drop them?
I don't know. I have to look at it again.
How do you not you got to go get in there and analyze the hell out of
this kind of stuff?
That's exactly what you memorize. He's got a 246. Do you want to know where those? Actually, you know what? That's a mental error. I don't want to know how he dropped 4 shots. I want to know how he made 246 points.
Well, you clear the top one and you clear the bottom one, and that's you're almost there.
No, clearing them is still an outcome goal. We need to talk about process goals. So obviously, he nailed his natural point of aim. He nailed his respiratory pause. He nailed his trigger control. Man, 246. Who is this guy?
Adam. He's a listener.
Adam. All right. Is this his first go around?
Adam Maple Seed? Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Awesome. Damn,
that's impressive.
I guess maybe impressive first time out. So no pressure from now on, right? Every time he gets on the line, he's got to do it that or better.
Or 250. I mean, he's got to do better, I think. Yeah.
We don't have a 250 yet, do we?
No.
What was the guy who in Ontario had his own personal range and was hosting Maple Seeds? He was way up there too. But
I think it was a 245 or something like that. I haven't heard of a 246 or higher.
That's crazy.
Could be out there though. Yeah.
So that happened in Bonnyville. He kicked your ass. That's good.
Yep. There's also some guys from some of the Ferlacci courses. Malcolm there, who I shot a black badge with as well.
Remember before COVID when we could do Ferlacci classes?
Yeah.
If we get our freedom back next year, we got to do one.
We should. I think we should. Yep. The area needs them. So really, really great course in Bonnyville. Got home, I put a video out on the Volquartsen hammer kit for the 1022. So I put a video up on the BX triggers because I found a place that I could get it really cheap. So I put a video out on those, and then Rick said, "Oh, you got to compare it against the Volquartsen hammer kit because it comes with a hammer and some springs, and it really does a great job to the trigger. The factory trigger is like 5 pounds, right? So I tried putting one in one of the 22s I've got here, and it took the trigger pull from 5 pounds to 3." Now they also gave a different trigger return spring, but when I used that, it wouldn't reset reliably. So I'd have to. One of the guys on my YouTube channel commented that I should try stretching that spring out to get a little bit more pressure off of it. But yeah, it was pretty decent. $45, and it includes the auto bolt release and the hammer and the springs and all that kind of stuff. That's a real cheap way of getting a better trigger in a 1022. Whereas the BX will take it down to 2.5 pounds for about $100. And then if you
is
want,
the BX only 100? I thought the BX was all in like
120.
150.
Depends where you buy it.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So I put that video. That is really like if you wanted to upgrade your 1022 on the cheap, that I would like highly recommend that way because it's cheap, $40, and you're off the races. You've got a much better trigger press. I went to Cabela's to pick up some binoculars. I wanted to talk to the guys there and like figure out which ones I should get, and I was all masked up and that kind of thing. And I was talking to the guy there, and I'm like, yeah, which ones? Like, I'm looking at these ones over here, and he's like, yeah, those are pretty good. And I asked a couple questions about it. He's like, and he asked, oh, are you done shopping? Because if you want to buy it, I'll have to take it up to the front for you. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm probably gonna walk around and that kind of thing. But yeah, take it to the front. He's like, okay, what's your name? Adriel. He's like, yeah, it turns out he's a listener. He's emailed into the show a couple of times. As Carson was his name, and yeah, it was good meeting people even masked up during COVID times.
That's funny.
Yeah, it is kind of funny. And yeah, anyway, so I picked up this. I should probably turn my silly background off so that it doesn't go all weird. There we go.
It's too late. It was weird.
I'm going for weird every time. But yeah, I picked up a Vortex Diamondback 10x42 binos, and they are very nice, very crisp. I've been like binoing my neighbors and that kind of thing all around here, and they're really good. One thing I wanted to just show people. So like whatever binoculars. So like 10x42 is approximately what I need for what I do. I've got
the same ones only in excuse me 8.5. Reason being, when I used to shoot 3D archery, there was a silly rule that you were not allowed to use more than 9 power. So 8.5 was as close as we could get to 9 power. Anyway, that rule is now gone because it didn't make any sense. It doesn't matter how, like, all the targets are the same. You shoot 2 tournaments, you've shot just about every target. Yeah. And it doesn't matter how good you see where the scoring zone is, you still have to actually be able to shoot your bow. So anyway, needless to say, they did away with it. But yeah, I love them. And they got the same warranty as all the other Vortex products.
Which is to say almost unlimited for anything. Yeah. Which is really why I picked them up, because there's plenty of binoculars that do this exact same thing. 10x42, okay glass for right around $300. Nikon's got some, Bushnell's got some, Leupold even has binoculars in this price point. But I like lifetime warranty, and the fact that it had some camo on it didn't hurt either, because I kind of wanted something camo for hunting. But one thing I wanted to show, and this isn't going to be like news for anyone who does like long range shooting or anything like that, but there we go. You see that part right in the middle there? That had a cap on, and a lot of these binoculars just have like a threaded insert there, and that's where you put something like this. So this threads in there, and then you attach that to your tripod if you're going to like watch where your bullet, or where someone else's bullets are hitting, or try to like spot for someone, or if you're at the range and you just want something that's a little bit easier to spot with rather than just your rifle scope. So I picked up one of these things too. But I probably won't really use it. I'll probably use that at the range. Maybe. Now that I think about it, I have a phone mount. Maybe I'll use the phone mount on there and record game just before I shoot him in the face when I'm hunting.
Sure.
Maybe.
Seems appropriate.
Yeah. That's the other thing I did at Cabela's. I got all my deer tags, got my kids' deer tags and game bird. So getting really geared up for your deer hunting. And then the other thing I did is I picked up a knife. Got a Mora.
Oh, that
Mora
looks like
knife.
a fillet knife.
Yeah, it looks like it, but it's just like your standard
Oh, look at that.
Yep, skinning
Cool,
knife.
skinning knife.
Whatever. Yep. This is what's this thing called? I don't know. This was like their nicer version. They got kind of two versions. Most people know Mora knives from like their companion knives. These ones are like $20, and they're just straight like utilitarian knives. This one's a carbon steel. The other one's like a stainless. But the whole idea is that they're super utilitarian, rubber handle, washable sheath,
Plastic
and all that kind
sheath.
of stuff.
Yeah, I have the same version from like the 50s that I inherited from my dad. Wood handle, but same kind of sheath, same kind of blade.
Was it a Mora knife? One of these guys? These Swiss, Sweden, made in Sweden.
I think it is made in Sweden. I'd have to dig it up to see.
Yeah. Just like plain.
It's got
plain
it's red.
Yeah.
Like most Swiss things are painted red.
Yeah.
And I think the Swiss flag, like the cross or whatever, is on the sheath.
Swiss or Swedish?
Swiss. So you've got Swedish?
Yeah, these are Swedish.
Well, you're suck then.
Yeah, they're not as fancy as Swiss. Definitely not. But I don't care because they're cheap. This one was like $20. This one was $50. Ooh,
wow,
we're getting pricey now. Yeah, not that pricey. But I just wanted like some nice skinning knives to use this year. What else I do? I got this isn't really. Oh, it's tangentially related to shooting.
Tangentially,
right? Tangentially.
Wow.
I don't think it's a tuli. I think it's a chili. Right?
No, you're fine. Right? You're fine.
Yeah.
Just busting out the big book learning words, man.
I'll get a little bit more whiskey in me. I'll dumb it right back down again here.
Okay, just remember your audience and your co-host. I'm just saying.
Here this is going to get dumber because I'm talking about living in a van down by the river. So I pulled the rear set of seats out of my van and chucked them. They're in the garbage. So I've got like one row in the middle, and then the back is like completely empty. And what I did was I built like a platform on the back there, like a wooden platform. And I am now in the process of like covering it with wool and that kind of thing. Here, this will be easier.
Like like a fabric, like a felt kind of thing.
Yeah. So the idea is that they like fold over so that you can those middle seats there. It'll sit on the middle seats. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so the middle seats are still there.
Correct. They're folded down
because you do have a family after all.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I think about them sometimes. This is one of those times.
One of those times. Didn't throw away all the seats.
No. So that one folds up, and then I can put them in there. But like underneath here is just boatloads of room. It's just like a ton of room for putting
ammo cans, rifle cases.
Yeah. Because I did a little bit of camping this year on the range between Maple Seed, 3-gun, that kind of thing. This platform, I got an air mattress that fits right on top of this bad boy, and it is comfy. And between sleeping in a tent and sleeping in a van,
all day.
So quiet, you can't hear like cars or people talking.
That's not true, but it's certainly better than a tent.
I can't.
Come on! If I'm standing outside your minivan speaking, you can hear me.
Well, I could probably hear you from like a mile away.
You see?
That's different entirely.
Okay, fine.
But
problem.
Lots of room.
You know who did something like this is Wild Bill. So Wild Bill, if you're listening, post a picture of the bed modification you did for your truck. So he's got a big half-ton truck. Well, big half-ton. He's got a half-ton truck.
Yeah.
He's got a tonneau cover on it. But when you drop the tailgate, he's got something like that made in the box. So then he can layer his stuff with a shelf type unit in between.
Yeah.
Dude, it might even be pullouts, like a drawer on tracks.
I was thinking about like Rick's got a setup like this, and he's got like I've just got like legs, just basic, like super basic kind of a setup. But if I wanted to get fancy, you put drawers underneath so you can really use that space underneath.
Yeah.
Anyways, not super related to shooting, but kind of, because it's going to make it easier for me to deploy to different areas to do maple seeds or shoot a match or whatever. It'll just be like stuff the bottom of the van with stuff, put my air mattress in there, sleeping in comfort. Don't care if it rains. No putting away tents in the rain or anything like that.
That's my favorite part.
Nah.
You know, packing and unpacking. I got to find out if I can see. I almost bought a Traverse, and a Traverse had 2 rows of seats like your soccer mom van there, your MILF mobile, and I would have had no problem sleeping in the back of that. But it was a Traverse, and it was like, how old am I really? So I went with the sporty Blazer. I don't know if I can sleep in the back of the Blazer.
What's the length? This is like the van's got 8 feet. I don't even use it all. I'm using like crazy. 6, and then I got like 2 feet of like changing room.
Yeah, no, the Traverse would have been like that too. I don't think the Blazer has 8. I don't think the Blazer has 6 feet. So,
what else did I get up to? And then I'm going to do 2 more maple seeds this weekend in Calgary at BTSA. That's going to be fun. Going to leave.
BTSA is another one of my favorite Alberta ranges.
Beautiful. I like
it. Is beautiful. It's an amazing facility.
Yeah. Really nice. They're really well set up for maple seed, and it's going to be good. These are going to be my second last trip for maple seed. My next one after this is going to be middle of October somewhere, and that's it for the year.
Okay.
Then I can go hunting. Yes, November hunting, and then maybe I'll squeeze in a 3-gun match in December. Maybe.
I think hunting started today. I haven't got my license yet. I've been off all week on bereavement, and if I wasn't hosting my first RC race on my own track this weekend, I'm not going to get too involved. I'm just going to go play with some cars. Yeah, no, I built the track, and now I'm hosting races. Who didn't see that coming? Anyway, but because of that, I missed the first day of hunting. I could have been in the woods today, but actually I couldn't have been because, I sold my truck and I bought a Blazer with fancy 21-inch low-profile tires that are probably 4-ply, and I obviously can't take those in the woods. But Fingers knows a guy who owns a tire shop who's a gunny, and there's something in the works to replace those big 21-inch wheels with 17-inch wheels with proper tires for snow and for driving in the woods. Anyway.
Driving in the woods, shooting bears, shooting moose, shooting deer.
More like shooting grouse. For now. But anyway.
Why do you need a big bad truck for that? Can't you just like go somewhere where there's some public land and just start walking through the woods and blasting grouse?
Yeah, that's what I do. I mean, pretty much like anywhere I would have taken my half ton, I'll take my Blazer. Like I wasn't one for going down. Like Muffin would take his half ton where a guy would take a side by side, right? Like it's a wood struck now. He doesn't care. So, but wherever I would take my Trail Boss, Dick Bone said it best when I first got it. He's like, another pavement princess. I'm like, no way, man. I'll have this thing in the woods all the time, man. Nope. When I traded it in, I sent him a message and you were right. It's a pavement princess. Like, sorry if I offended you. I'm like, I don't think I could get offended over somebody talking about a truck. But anyway, so hunting starts this weekend. So I'll be looking forward to getting out and shooting some grouse in the head.
Yeah. I could have went for bow and done some deer, but like half my October is taken up with maple seeds, and all of my September was taken up with maple seeds and 3-guns and that kind of thing. So I don't have any time for bow. Yeah,
I got one weekend, maybe. So I got this weekend. This weekend is taken up. The following weekend I'm free, and then I've got the Atlantics, and then I can hunt the rest of the time. So I will be getting. I'm
going to take a week off. When it's hunting time, I'm taking a week.
Oh yeah, you can do that, and I don't blame you. I would too.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else, Adriel, before we carry on to upcoming events?
Nope. Let's go on.
All right. So, upcoming events is sponsored by Telos Alpha. Telos Alpha is a Canadian digital agency that works exclusively in the firearms vertical. They help with business processes, strategic planning, websites, e-commerce, and battling the stigma the industry carries with banks, merchant processors, and social media. Learn more at telosalpha.com. There are I don't know what the fuck this is supposed to be. It just says spots available at Woodview October.
I put it in, so
and you explain
I could
it.
talk about it. Maple
Please.
Seed. There are Maple Seed spots available at Woodview October 17th and 18th. Go to
Watch this.
mapleseedrifleman.com.
Watch this. Maple Seed. There, and I'll put a little coal in there. Now the person reading the show notes know what's going. No, yeah. See, so there's an upcoming Maple Seed in Woodview. The dates are October 17th and 18th. And how did they register for that, Adriel? Do they go to mapleseed.com?
Mapleseedrifleman.com.
There you go.
Yeah.
Lady
That's in
Guns.
Ontario.
Lady Guns must be a thing, and that thing is taking place Thursday, October 8th at the Calgary Shooting Center. $30, all levels. What does that mean, all levels?
All levels of experience and all heights of women as well.
Oh,
any level
so okay, if you're a chick,
yeah.
If you're a chick and you don't have a PAL, which is a firearms license, it doesn't matter how tall you are, you can take part.
Correct. I believe I haven't got the notes from Kelly, but I'm pretty sure levels means height in this instance.
What else would it mean? That's literally what a level means. Or maybe if you're into Dungeons and Dragons, whatever level elf you are in the game doesn't matter. You can.
What attribute would you need for shooting? Intelligence, strength, dexterity.
Dexterity. Hand coordination.
You don't need an 18 dexterity. Like a 10 is fine. Yep.
And then Lady Guns is also taking place. What? Okay. What the hell is Lady Guns? Like, how are we going to tell people to go to an event? I don't know what the hell it is. Go to Lady Guns. Is that just like a lady?
Go to the Facebook page for more details. The Ladies Guns Facebook page. I bet you there's more details on the Facebook page.
Oh, you son of a bitch. It says that right at the bottom. Why couldn't we put that at the front? Okay, so visit Lady Guns Facebook page for more details. And then if you like what you read there and you're in the Calgary area, you can go to the shooting center on October 8th or the other place on October 22nd. News. We have some new donations to the CCFR court challenge. Kamloops Target Sports Association kicked in $5,000, and the Camrose Shooting Sports Association $500. Thank you very much to those guys for helping the CCFR keep our guns.
Have you seen this other one? Have you seen this one? One where this guy. I'll share my screen.
Oh, it's a link to a private group.
Okay, what's CCFR? But I'll pull it up. So this one is a weapons complaint from Sudbury. It's kind of light on details, so we don't really know what's going on here. But long story short, a man was believed to be in a possession of a gun and ammunition and was heard unzipping a gun case and racking the gun several times, causing a woman in somewhere else to flee.
Okay.
So that's it. It's real.
That's all we got?
Yeah, careless use of a firearm.
Police seized 3 non-restricted long guns and a small. You got to do better than that, Adriel. That's all you.
It's kind of weird, isn't it? This is a weird charge, a weird case to come up.
Well, you haven't given any details.
Are there any other details here?
There's all kinds of stuff. There's a date, a location. A man was believed to be in possession of gun and ammunition. Well,
he was uncooperative with the officers, so he hadn't done anything illegal. He was uncooperative with the officers, which probably shouldn't be cooperative with the officers.
Where did this take place?
Sudbury. I said that.
No, where in Sudbury? Somebody was he in a park? Was he
Chelmsford? In a residence.
He was in a residence. Okay, all right. A man was believed to be in possession of a gun and ammunition and could be heard unzipping a gun case and racking the gun several times, causing a woman in the residence to fear for her safety. The woman, who is known to the man, fled the residence and contacted police. Shortly after, the residence was secured and containment was set up by patrol officers. Officers made countless efforts to communicate with the man who remained inside the residence. Okay, so this is a guy and a girl inside a house,
Mm-hmm.
and he was mucking around with a gun. She felt threatened and called the cops.
Correct. Shouldn't you get like a intimidation or threatening charge or assault or something like that, rather than like careless use of a firearm? Seems very odd.
Well,
what would be careless about like racking a gun or taking it out of a case?
Intent.
What's the are you intending to use it carelessly when you take it out of the case and rack it?
If you were using the gun to intimidate her, then you are using the gun carelessly. The act of unzipping,
isn't that another charge though? Isn't there another charge that would fit that better? Anyways, that's what was kind of odd. They sent the SWAT in to arrest this guy for something, and they charged him with careless use of a firearm. Like careless use of a firearm is like you're target shooting and you don't know what your backstop is and you're flinging rounds over someone's head or something.
Careless use of a firearm is whatever they decided it is.
Mm-hmm.
We don't like how you were using your gun, so hey, that's careless use, right? If you're not using the gun specifically for target shooting, if you're not cleaning it, if you're not hunting with it, and you're mucking about with it, these two are obviously in some kind of pissing contest. Why then is he playing with the gun?
Yeah.
If not to intimidate her, that's careless use of a firearm.
I think it should be some other charge, but
you can think
it doesn't. My opinion doesn't matter here.
No. And nor does mine. But if there's some kind of confrontation with him and her in the house, and all of a sudden then he's playing with a gun, why is he handling a gun at that time when it could be misinterpreted as intimidation, threat, whatever? You and I, if we start having a fight with our spouse, the last fucking thing we do is start playing with a gun. We don't go clean them. We don't go in the gun room. We leave the gun. We don't touch the guns. You know what I mean? Like, you never want to put yourself in that situation. Mike Pospolita and I are leaving Filthy's range, and that psycho that lives at the end of the dirt road comes out and he starts confronting us about driving too fast. And the first thing he says is, "You guys all have guns. I don't have any guns. I'm not afraid of the fact that you guys have guns." Do you think Mike and I ever said the word gun, talked about guns, said anything about guns? We never said, no, we don't have guns, or we have guns, or we would never threaten you with a gun. You don't even acknowledge that he went down that road. You just like, well, we'll drive slow from now on. You know what I mean? Anyway, it might get tossed, but
or changed to something else. That's what.
Well, there's probably something else there too, right?
Yeah.
But what's this next one? This next one happened in Filthy's neighborhood.
Yes, this is in your neck of the woods. This is a really weird article too. It looks like they changed the intent of the article. So if you look at the URL for this thing, it says
from CBC. Let's get that out there right off the bat.
Look at the article though. It says first degree murder, not criminally responsible defense. That was the heading they were going to run with when they first made this page. Because when you make a page in a website, you give it a name, you kind of reserve the URL, or it was changed at some point. So that was originally what it was about.
Let's take it back one step.
Mm-hmm.
This is a story in the CBC pertaining to the shooting that happened a couple of years ago, where a guy ambushed two police officers from an upper window, second floor of an apartment building. There was some kind of domestic dispute going on, and he shot two officers from an elevated position with an SKS when they arrived.
And a couple other people too, a couple civilians.
Before,
I believe.
Before, yeah. Okay. So he shot two people, and then he shot two police officers when they responded.
Yeah.
All right. So that is the incident that this story is pertaining to give them some background here, what we're talking about.
Perfect. Yeah, so that's the incident. Then we've got the CBC article. Heading says, firearms expert says rifle used in Fredericton shooting designed to kill, mostly used for hunting. And
so it's not wrong. The SKS was designed to kill people. It's a military gun.
Yep. And
in Canada now it's mostly used for hunting.
I would say it's mostly used for like plinking these days. I don't think a lot of people hunt with their SKSs.
I think a lot of people hunt with SKSs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the overall, or for every 10 SKSs sold, how many do you think get hunted with? I would say 1.
Really?
1 out of 10. Well, they're just not a great hunting rifle.
Hell no.
No.
But I guess because it's a non-restricted firearm,
Mhm.
perhaps this expert is taking liberties and saying, "Hey, it's non-restricted in Canada.
That's
It
for
means it's a hunting gun."
Yeah, I would. That's probably more likely that CBC is just taking them out of context and putting their quotes where they want to.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Let's
Yeah,
face it, it's
they do
not a
that a
bolt
lot.
action 308, right? But
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyways, yeah. So it goes on to describe the situation. The guy's pleading criminally insane kind of a thing. But yeah,
So-
mostly just what's odd about this article is the how the firearms expert was quoted. I don't know like how much of this actually came out of their mouth like this, or how much was quoted a little bit like out of step and a little bit oddly by the CBC to further their objective. Just because it's a very odd kind of disjointed way that it goes about. It says Ryu testified that the Simonov is a Russian unrestricted rifle. He said the Simonov is designed to basically kill. It's a firearm. However, he said it's typically now used for hunting. They go on to say that according to the CBC, most long guns are non-restricted and are legal to own in Canada.
It would actually be more accurate to say that the Lee Enfield was originally designed for killing and now mostly used for hunting, because there's a lot more Lee Enfields used in Canada for hunting than SKSs, for sure. The Canadian trio used to be Cooey Model 39, Cooey Model 84, and a 303 British.
Yeah, 303 British is definitely better for hunting, yeah.
Triot tree. My bad.
Triot tree, I believe is the technical correct name for it. Yep. Anyway, so this guy had an SKS, and that's what he used it. He described it as a semi-automatic rifle. With each bullet trigger, the rifle will use a portion of the gas to eject used cartridges to the right and load the next cartridge, he said. Ryu said it's semi-automatic and not fully automatic because you have to pull the trigger each time. So this is an odd bit of weird detail to put into an article.
Especially the CBC, where normally it's like assault rifle, full stop.
Yeah.
They actually quoted the firearms expert describing how a semi-automatic works.
Yeah, which I'm not sure it's important, but I guess some of it is good that it's in there.
It's better than calling it an assault rifle.
Yeah. But anyways, this is a full page description of an SKS and what they do, and then they go on to say like he's, pleading insanity basically to it. Police found newspapers with Serpent and Hoax written on them alongside swimsuit magazines with 666 written on them in large black script. So dude's probably crazy.
He must be crazy.
Probably. I mean,
so what part of this article infuriates you?
It's just odd. I just anytime I see the CBC covering guns, it's just odd. It's very odd, and some people are thinking like, oh well, the SKS is one of those guns that might be restricted next. And when I see this kind of thing, it's troubling.
Yeah. I mean, it's found at so many crime scenes.
Wow, they're so cheap. Yeah, they're so cheap and abundant and all over the place and popular, right?
Tapco stocks. Can we do that? Can we ban those? Leave the SKS alone. Ban the Tapco stock.
Just ban the ones with Tapco stocks on them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because it's an AR-15 variant at that point.
That seems to be the logic. Yeah.
Yeah, that is the logic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If the 715T is an AR-15 variant, then an SKS and a Tapco stock, definitely an AR-15 variant.
Yeah. Anyways, that's it for the news.
All right.
There was a debate. It was hilarious. I watched it with a big bowl of popcorn. The U.S. presidential debate. So funny.
Don't care
so
at
funny.
all. Hashtag not my president. 0 fucks. Him and Biden can both get cancer and die. Don't care.
Still
American politics can eat a bag of dicks.
Yeah, I don't care about American politics.
Politics not supposed to be entertaining. You're not supposed to be entertained by politics.
It was very
that's
entertaining.
How they like it. Yeah,
It was hilarious. It was just a total mess. I expected it.
Care.
I got it. Lovely.
Next. What's this? The new gun stuff?
Bolt action coffee, yeah.
Yeah. So Slamfire Radio is now an ambassador. Is it a ambassador or an ambassador? It's now an ambassador.
Brand ambassador? No, a brand ambassador.
A brand. Oh, there you go. Is now a brand ambassador for Bolt Action Coffee. The coffee is roasted in small batches and is quite honestly some of the best coffee you can get your hands on. Send it to your house by going to www.boltactioncoffee.com.
I believe they grind it inside of REM 700 action. Just crank it in one of those. No?
Yeah, and so it's twofold. One, the coffee gets ground, and it also functions as a lapping compound.
Ooh, you need to do that on the REM 700s. Remington anything.
Yeah, Remington anything. So, yeah, that'll be your pleasure. Okay, so Remington is selling off its assets, I guess. I mean, it's finally, this is it. The nail is in the coffin. They're done. They're breaking up the company, and some of us are really happy about which parts that they used to own, about where those parts are going. So, all right, Marlin. Where's Marlin going?
Oh, I love this news. It's going to Ruger.
Yeah.
Ruger makes good guns. Like their QC, their production is usually pretty good. And Marlin's going over there. Ruger can I think they can make use of that.
I'd like them to just like let Marlin go back to being Marlin on its own. Like, why did Marlin even get bought up in the first place?
Marlin had some good stuff before they got bought. Like they had the X7 bolt action rifle, which turned into the Remington 783. That was a good gun. That was a very good budget gun. Yeah, and
I mean, Remlins became a thing. Like that's how bad that they got screwed.
Yeah, I've heard from some people that the quality has improved. The only thing I haven't heard is that the finish has been improved, because a lot of those Marlin lever action rifles, lever if you're American, the receiver will rust just because the finish on them is not very good.
You look like, so having worked on and off in a gun shop for the better part of 2 years, working on new guns and seeing new guns that come in, and then working on guns, or mostly just cleaning, because a lot of the older guns don't need work, but they need to be cleaned. Most of the time when a malfunctioning firearm comes in that is 30 years old, it's just never been cleaned. The quality of today's firearms is garbage compared to it really is true when they say they don't make them like they used to. And one of the things that they've done to cut corners is on the finishing. Matte bluing became a thing because people didn't want to, they just cut corners, didn't polish the steel, and then blew it. They're just like, sandblast that shit, throw it in the tank, get it out the door. Next, just about turning and burning. And my Marlin 4570, my Marlin 1895, I guess it would be. It's nice, don't get me wrong, but it's not old Marlin nice, not by any stretch of the imagination. See all the machine marks in the steel and stuff, and it's just not the same. So I'd like to see them go back, right? Like, I mean, and to get
quality stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's still like, to get a firearm that has the fit and finish of yesteryear, you're into thousands of dollars now for what used to be the bare minimum. Now,
but back then it cost like today's version of thousands of dollars. Like a gun 40 years ago would be like a month's salary, and these days it's like maybe a couple days to a week max, kind of a thing. True. Yep. Like I got a hunting rifle in the early 2000s. It was a Savage 100, and it was the cheap one, and it was $440 with like a crappy scope on it. And today you can buy a cheap hunting rifle for like $350 a round.
Yeah.
And that's after all that inflation and all that other kind of stuff. So now we're basically getting guns at half the price that we used to.
Yeah, you're
Big
right.
Difference.
I mean, my dad had lots of firearms when I was growing up, and I remember vividly the time he bought a brand new firearm. All the firearms that were in our house were secondhand, that were bought and sold between brothers and uncles and stuff like that. Like, there was never a brand new gun, and nothing had a scope on it. Everything was iron sights. His two big game rifles were a Triot Tree and a Model 94 Winchester 30-30, right? Nothing had a scope.
Don't need a scope on either of those.
Well, I guess. I mean, neither was designed to have a scope, but yeah. So you're right. I mean, back then, it was and I mean he was so disappointed with the gun that he bought too. He collected lever action, or he collected 22s. Basically, he had more 22 rifles than anything else, and he wanted a Model 94 22, and he couldn't find one. And then when he finally found one, it was in Magnum, and he couldn't hit anything with it. Just awful. Yeah. So okay, next Barnes. Where's Barnes going?
Sierra bullets.
Barnes?
Kind of like Sierra.
I like Sierra. It almost seems like an odd match to me. Like I think of Sierra as a kind of they're a pretty high end brand, and I don't think very much Barnes. Now, has Barnes got something going on that I don't know about, or Sierra have some budget lines I don't know about? Like, is this a good match?
I would say Sierra is cheap but good. Like their bullets are not expensive. Even the Match Kings are not that expensive. No.
Well, they're not.
You can get way more expensive than that.
But I mean,
yeah.
All right.
But like all their stuff is decent. I like, and the Match Kings are like a very good. They've been good for a long time. So it's a really good one that a lot of people start with, right? They say, okay, if you're going to get a 308, start with the 168 grain Match King, or I don't know. I don't even know if that's a thing, but like it's a common recommendation just to start with a Match King, and they're decently priced.
Very good. Okay, and Remington had other lines of ammo. They had the core lock, and they had some trap stuff. Where's all that going?
I was trying to write that down and I forgot. I think it was Olin. I think it was like Winchester Olin or something like that bought that. So
okay, all right.
Where all the other ammo is.
So Bushmaster was bought by the Freedom Group, and Bushmaster is now Wyndham Weaponry.
That's the new Bushmaster. Yeah, Wyndham.
Yeah, well,
old Bushmaster is still around. Old Bushmaster is now Franklin Armory. Franklin's like they're the guys that have all the crazy ideas. Every year at SHOT Show, they have a crazy idea. They had the little football 22 caliber bullets.
Oh yeah, because it was
smooth bore. Yeah. They've always got some like weird idea that's a real showstopper, I guess. And
did I have this wrong or did I have this right? I can't remember because I think somebody called me out on it for being mistaken once. It was my understanding, and I'm willing to sit corrected again on this if I'm wrong, that Wyndham Weaponry was Bushmaster. He sold the name Bushmaster to Freedom Group. They didn't take the equipment, and he continued to produce AR-15s in the same facility, but changed the name to Wyndham Weaponry because the guy
after his NDA or after his non-compete expired.
Okay.
Yeah, seems right.
All right. So Bushmaster's on to Franklin Armory. Tapco to Sportsman's Warehouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Tapco.
a U.S. thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And what about the other gun stuff?
Roundhill Group. Never heard of it. But apparently they bought a bunch of the Remington like 700 and some of those other things. I don't know what's going to happen there. They must have some other capability, or maybe they're buying it as like a holding company and they're just going to run it as Remington.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
That other point is separate from the Remington stuff.
Yep. Yeah, I can tell because the points are all different colors. Like it's a new bullet. Hodgkin. So Hodgkin make a lot of awesome powders, and they bought 3 different powders at least. They bought Ramshot, Accurate, and this next one, Blackhorn 209. I've never heard of. Now 209 is associated with a shotgun primer. Is Blackhorn a primer company for shotguns? What's their thing? Do you know?
I don't know. Like 209 could shotgun primer. It could also be a black powder substitute. Because a lot of those use 209s. But okay. I'm just guessing.
But interesting.
Blackhorn 209 muzzle loading powder. Woo!
There you go. Hodgson's taking over the world, man.
A little bit of centralization going on.
I think
Hodgson makes good powder though. So I don't
So it's
mind it too
accurate.
much. Like when we look at like a lot of these changes, I like most of these changes. Like when Freedom Group went around and bought all of these companies, they all got worse. So it's probably a good thing that that now they're selling it all to people who know what they're doing. Yeah, I don't mind like, because like we're talking about like centralization. Ruger may have the lock on the 22 market. We don't know what happened with the Marlin 795. Sorry, the Marlin 795 is going to Ruger. Ruger already has the 1022. If they get the Remington 597, that's all your semi-auto 22s. I guess it's Savage A22, Savage 64. Savage will still make those, but that's a much smaller part of the market than 1022s, 795s, and 597s.
Yeah, you're right. They own the 22 rifle world now. Like you said, Savage still has, but I mean, honestly, who's got an A64?
No,
or an A22 rather. I mean,
I've seen a couple out there. They still have some teething problems from development.
The mag thing is,
and the jamming. Like I watched one at the Battle of Alberta because we have like a Plinkster category. I watch a guy with a Savage A22 have some real issues with it, and yeah, it's got some issues. And then the Savage 64, like it's inexpensive. It works usually. But I get people mad at me all the time on my YouTube channel because I'm like not praising the Savage 64.
Same people who defend SKSs.
Or the Remington 770, which is another real dog of a rifle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, like people invest their ego into their purchase like they designed it. You just bought it, man. You just traded money for a product.
And what do you care if some stranger on the internet doesn't like your rifle?
Right?
Who cares?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like me getting offended because my truck was called the Pavement Princess. Yeah, I get uncomfortable when people compliment my stuff. Like, oh man, that's an awesome truck. Yeah, I just bought it, man. I didn't design it. I didn't paint it or nothing. Like, it's just, you can buy one too. Like, I had nothing to do with it. I just own it.
It's just money.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
If I create, if I, build the log house out of trees, that's different. But anyway, so that was the main topic, getting into the news and how Remington was broken up. So 2 birds, 1 stone, news. Perfect. And main topic.
Love
yeah.
it.
Let's jump into the listener feedback, and that, of course, is brought to us by Armory DC Gunsmith. Armory DC Gunsmith is a full-service gunsmith who specializes in firearms refinishing. He offers hot bluing, parkerizing, Cerakote finishes, as well as wood refinishing. Check out his online inventory of new and used guns, firearms accessories, optics, and more at dcgunsmith.ca. You can follow him on the Facebooks and the Instagrams as well. Yep. This first one comes to us from Facebook. It's from Kyle. He said, what would be a good scope for a 308 for ranges between 100 and 200 meters? Just getting into my first PRS. PRS goes up past 200, doesn't it?
It says PSR.
Oh, PSR. My God, yeah.
Yeah,
what's PSR?
Precision rifle, maybe?
Well, that's PRS. I don't know. But so let's, I don't know what PSR is, but one of my favorite.
200 yards is a chip shot for a 308. So, anything?
I like Vortexes, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So I suggested a Viper HST. HS if you're going to hunt. T if you're going to target shoot. The only difference between the two is that the turret is either under a cap or not. T, it's a target turret. It's exposed, adjust on the fly. And the without the T is just your adjustable turret underneath the cap. Viper line is it's up there, but it's not crazy up there.
Mm-hmm.
It's got good glass. It's got good features. It comes in a wide range of powers and objective sizes. What do you think? You got a different suggestion? Don't
like
agree with me. Give something else.
For 1 to 200 meters, if it's for target shooting, I would look for something in like 4 to 12, maybe. But like if it's for hunting, I'll just use a 3 to 9. 3 to 9 works for any of that kind of stuff. And the nice thing with a 3 to 9 is that you can get really good glass. Like you can pay a little bit more, get really good glass on it. and that like makes a difference at the lower price points.
Viper comes in. There's a Viper, then there's because I had a Viper and then a Viper HS. And then what was the real crazy one I got that was on my Stag? The GS Viper PST? Yeah, that was a Viper PST. So the Viper comes in a wide range of, 3 to 9 hunting, which I had on my Thompson Center Venture Predator in 223, all the way up to the Viper PST Gen 2. That's what I had on my Stag 10. Okay.
Yeah, it really depends on price point. Price point dictates what you're going to get, and then target shooting or hunting also dictates what you're going to do. Because like 1 to 200 meters, it's not that far. It's totally doable with all those rifles. It really depends. Sure. Like, are you trying to punch little holes? Are you trying to do? Even if you're trying to do like PRS, I just don't think 200 meters is far enough to really need like target turrets or anything like that on a 308. What are you dialing like? Few clicks this way, a few clicks that way. That's it, right? There's nothing crazy you need to do there. So I would go cheap just because, not cheap, but like cheaper because I just don't think it's necessary to throw like $1,000 optic when you're shooting 1 to 200 meters on a rifle. No, exactly. Yeah, unless you're trying to, shoot dime-sized groups or something, right? So, PSR. I don't know, man. Okay, you want to grab this next one from Josh? Bet I do. Hey guys, you mentioned recently about a letter that you had written to your local municipality. You included links to some Toronto police officers and Winnipeg police officers stating that a handgun ban would not help reduce crime. It'd be helpful to have those links so I could duplicate what you did in my local municipality. A template of your letter would also be helpful for some, I'm sure. If you could email me those links or perhaps post them somewhere, that would be most beneficial. Thanks, from Josh. Yeah, I could send that email over to you, Josh. Cool. Yeah. Graham has some feedback on our feedback. Mm-hmm. He says, can you guys watch your levels or run the podcast through a compressor? I thought we did, but I don't do anything. I'm constantly turning up the volume to hear Adriel's Soto. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Maybe like soft voice bits. Soto voice? Voce? I don't know. Maybe that's some sort of like fancy Soto voce bits. Yeah. Soto voce. I don't know. While I'm hammering down the 401, only to get blasted by Trevor or Random Dave. You're killing me. That may be hyperbolic. You're deafening me. Well, annoying at the very least. Oh, dude, I hear you, Graham. I like, there are shows, I want to listen to them because I enjoy the hosts and I enjoy the content. But if you can't get your shit together in 2020 and put out good audio quality, I will listen to something else. So, dude. Ben Stoker's podcast, I have to run at max volume in my van or in my car. Yeah, max volume. Yeah. I can't. Those guys need to bump their audio quality. Anyways, yeah, Graham, we could we did it before. We would run everything through Levelator, but it does reduce the quality of the audio just a little bit when it does it. But we can do it again because it does do a really good job of matching the host's audio levels. And the nice thing is it does max out the volume as well. It does a good job of that so that if you are in your car, you don't need to crank it all the way up to max just to hear the podcast. He's not kidding though. When I listen to us in the car, you are lower than the rest of us. He's not dreaming. So cool, man. Thanks, Graham. I'd rather have somebody call us out and ask us to improve than stop listening. So good email, man. All right. I'll levelate today's show. Perfect. Just for you, Graham. Mm-hmm. We're going to get our shit together, buddy. Just for you. One day we won't live under an overpass. Not true. I enjoy my overpass. Look at me. Look where I am right now. Overpass. That's a sewer pipe over my head. Someone mentioned that it's leaking. Your sewer pipe's leaking. Or one of those pipes. Yeah. Could be. I mean, I'm so full of shit. They may just be mistaking, my overflow for the pipe. Who knows? Yeah. You want the next one there from Jimmy Boy? All right, cool. From Jim. Hi, Slamfire crew. In reference to your discussion during the September 24th episode on how a municipal gun ban might be enacted, here's how I see it unfolding. 2 caveats. I'm not a lawyer, and I have no insider information. But I did save a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to the Lizard Company. In his mandate letter, Minister Blair was directed to amend Canada's firearms laws in order to enact the proposed bans. What I think he will do or is doing is that he will amend the Firearms Act to allow for the creation of municipally defined restriction zones no use, possession allowed, and prohibition, no use or possession allowed zones for handguns. Regulations will also be changed to allow the Canadian Firearms Program, CFP, to provide municipalities or local police services with the names, addresses, and ownership particulars for all registered handguns within their boundaries that are no longer welcome. Those municipalities will now be empowered to issue confiscation orders and lay charges under the Firearms Act for noncompliance. The antis hope this will also include a ban on the sale or transfer of handguns from a prohibited zone to someone on the outside, thus taking those guns out of circulation forever, just like what happened on May 1st. This will undoubtedly result in charter and constitutional challenges by the provinces, which will carry on far beyond the next election. Again, this is my thought on how it will go down, nothing more, but I did stay at a swanky hotel once. Keep up the good work, Jim. I don't think that they'll lock them down. So the cities, I don't think any municipalities have any money to do a buyback. So that's not going to happen. If anything, the prohibition thing might happen in terms of like a zone. But the likely result of that is that you'll have some sort of grace period to sell your firearms or move. You can sell your offending property or you can leave and go somewhere else. That's why I'm keeping a little bit of extra cash on hand, so that I can help all those poor people in the big cities who have handguns and need to sell them at a new market low. I will be there to help you.
Saint Adriel, patron saint of the poor gunnies. The downtrodden. The gunnies who moved under the overpass. Patron saint of them,
Yeah. I will expect some deals, though, for my generosity.
Yeah, for your generosity. You're a good person, Adriel. All right, this next one comes from Edmund. He says, "Hi, guys and gal. I think it would be great to have a new section. What did our fans buy at Cabela's to support the show?" It's not a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting to hear what fans bought, including my items: the PMC rifle ammo and the shooting mat. The PMC didn't group well for me, but anyone looking for Soft Point 223 can try it out for a decent price of $15 a box. I'm surprised Kelly was surprised the shooting mats were on sale. Adriel mentioned it a couple of episodes past, and that's what precipitated my purchase. Now I just got to get to a maple seed. I ordered the items online and chose in-store pickup. An interesting story developed on my first attempt to pick up. Apparently, 2 perps robbed Cabela's and on the way out were confronted by a responding officer. One of them assaulted her before hosing her with bear spray, ran off, then came back to spray her again. Jesus. That perp got ventilated for his efforts. Excellent. Seems like desperate and stupid acts in desperate times. Needless to say, I had to return another day to pick up my purchases. Keep up the podcast. Looking forward to the next one. And there's a global news story about it. Abbotsford. What do you know?
Charges laid. Attempted theft.
He got
possessing a weapon for a dangerous purpose. Yep. Pepper sprayed. One returned to pepper the spray the officer a second time. Oh, yeah. At that point, the officer shot the suspect. He went back for more, and it was a mistake. That was when that's when you went wrong.
Yeah, the getting is good. You were clear. Now you're full of holes, moron. I'm glad he went back and got shot.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, that's a good excuse not to pick up your stuff from Cabela's.
No, it's a great excuse to go pick up your stuff from Cabela's. It's like the time Kennedy got shot live on TV. No one wanted to change the channel for the next 30 years because someone might get shot during the commercial break. Same thing. It's like, we need to go to Cabela's. Somebody might be getting shot for pepper spraying a cop.
Yeah. Do you want me to take this next one?
Yeah, man.
From Josh, Quiet Little Kelly. I just listened to episode 200 on the podcast News Shooter Canada. About half an hour in, they talk about some history of that show, how Kelly was part of it for a year. They go on to say some pretty nice and respectful things about her. I didn't know that this Kelly girl, whom I listened to on a podcast, and then realized was from my hometown, and who I reached out to sell a new fridge to. I didn't realize that Kelly was such a big name in the shooter industry. Literally anyone that I have talked to about shooting or swapping equipment or reloading or even working behind the gun counter at Cabela's in Ottawa, everyone seems to know this Kelly person from the podcast. And now with the CCFR, and Maple Seed. Anyway, you guys always give a shout out to others, so I thought Kelly deserved a shout out. You're doing good things for the industry and making a name for yourself, and you're making a difference. Keep up the good work. It won't be long until Rod retires, and you will be running the CCFR with Tracy. Kelly will be doing that. I'm not doing that. That's too much.
I believe he was talking about Kelly.
Okay, good.
Not you. Yeah. No.
Or you. None of us. No, just
none
Kelly.
Of us. No.
Yeah, she's the one of all the time.
She is far more into advocacy than either of us ever will be. Also from Josh. Hi, guys. Not sure if you could do a whole show on this or not, but backyard ranges are an interesting topic for those who have a little bit of property. Steel gong targets are reactive and fun. They also don't break the bank if you buy them well. On that note specifically, I found a Canadian manufacturer of steel shooting gongs as well as reactive targets of all different types. The great part is he lives in Alberta, and the price of his targets, including shipping to Ontario, is still significantly less than you pay for the box store brands. You can check his prices out and when he pays us to advertise for him, we will give you that URL.
I bought stuff from them. We bought targets for a 3-gun from them. Whole bunch of knockdown plates and that kind of thing. Yeah,
nice. I'm just wondering why Josh is concerned about where he lives. Like, I'd like to know where to get the products are. Like, I wouldn't want to stand over him and sniff him and stuff. But anyway, the great part is he lives in Alberta. Okay. All right.
The land of the free. You have to support people who live in the land of the free.
Yeah. I think maybe Josh was just implying that he operates his business out of Alberta, which means we don't have to pay shipping and duty and taxes to bring the stuff in
the
from
extra
the States.
tax.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Josh isn't actually concerned with where this guy resides.
Just not U.S.
Or is he? Anyways, yeah, so it's steeltargets.ca. Just thought I would send a little tidbit of information for anyone looking to get a good deal on steel. Thanks. From Josh V. If you would like to send us an email and profess your love for a local steel target maker, you can do so by sending it to slamfireradio@gmail.com. We have a new Patreon, Canadian AR 15 guy for $5 a month. Thank you very much. You will receive some patches in the mail. If you'd like to show your love and support for the show, you can do so by going to patreon.com/slamfireradio. Another way to support the show is to go to Cabela's and click on the affiliate link. Hold it. I did that wrong.
Our website first.
Our website. Click on the affiliate link for Cabela's, and we will get a small kickback for your purchase. And then email us and tell us what you purchased through our site, and to shame the other listeners into matching you. So, any shout outs, Adriel?
To all the Maple Seeders and the organizers who do all the work. Yeah.
Nice.
The organizers that do all the work. Brian in Calgary. PTSA is awesome. He made up these custom little target stands and all that kind of stuff just for Maple Seed. It's gonna be awesome.
Sweet. Cool. I have no shout outs this week. Well, I guess to Filthy for hitting me with a chair.
He was saying F you in the Facebook feed. I don't even know what I did or said. Maybe it's because you replied as Slamfire Radio.
I
it's me.
Know. Could be.
Or it could have been one of the many things I said on the show that was very offensive, because that's something that I do too.
You definitely like to trigger the stormtrooper. Mm-hmm. So, I think he asked a question what's the best chair for shutting up your squad mate or RO or something without smashing the chair? What would be the best chair to throw at your buddy during an IPSC match if you want to shut him the fuck up without injuring him much? Yeah, a wooden folding chair.
No, metal one. Metal.
No, it's without injuring him much.
Yeah, but you need the durability there. You need the reuse of a metal chair. A metal chair you can bash people with all day long. Still great. Still
But-
working great.
injure them much. I think you're missing the finer point here. We want to be able to throw the chair
Mhm.
and not injure them too much. If you go straight to steel chair, man, I don't know. Yeah, the durability of the chair is there, but what about your squad mate?
They
I feel like
know
that's not a
stand
concern.
there.
Lessons learned. And
Indeed.
Jessica says 100%. I'm not sure what that was in relation to. These things don't they don't flow very good sometimes. They come out of
Yeah.
order. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
anyway. All right. Until next week, everybody, check us out on Gun Owners of Canada. Be sure to like us on Facebook. We are at 2,705. Join the CCFR and report back next week.
So if you have any comments or questions for the show, please send an email to slamfireradio@gmail.com. Now go grab a gun and shoot something.
When the talking is over, it's time to get a gun.